Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Late Night with Nike Oshinowo. So the wonderful thing about this show is that it has actually given me an opportunity to present myself to you all in different ways, you know, because there's so many pieces of me that are often eclipsed by other things. I don't know how it is in the rest of Africa, but here in Nigeria, everybody has a slash. Everyone has multiple professions. I, for one, am a media personality. I'm an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, an activist for women. And tonight, I have with me two amazing young ladies who play multiple roles, meaning they cash multiple checks, and they do it while still looking totally fabulous. I think at this point I can say that I have taught this next generation pretty well. So my first guest this evening is an extraordinary young lady, like I said. Her name is Marcy Dolapo Oni. She got her start in the UK. She is totally fabulous. I love her to death. Hello. Hello, darling. Come, take a seat. And how are you?
I'm very well.
You look very well. I'm loving the hair.
Thank you.
Totally loving the look.
I'm loving the hair as well. I was a bit scared when they were cutting it off, but yeah.
No, it suits you.
Thank you.
It brings out all your features. Love the lips, love the cheek. No, love everything. Fab.
And you look fantastic, of course.
Thank you.
And I have to say, I'm loving this whole, I love the trunk.
Oh, I know.
Love the trunk.
I'm taking that home with me. So listen, let's get right into this.
Okay.
So you got your start in the UK.
Yes.
And within, literally, you've been in Nigeria just a few years.
Yeah, it's 4 years, like about 4.5 years, yeah.
And you have done all of this. What are you, Superwoman?
I mean, thank you very much. You know, it's great that you said this because
You're
I feel
working.
like I am, and I feel like I don't really stop to pat myself on the back and say I've actually accomplished some things. Oh, you're gonna pat me on the back? Okay.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well
thank
done.
you.
You know something? We should pat ourselves on the back,
Yeah.
more often. No, it's phenomenal because you were in this famous miniseries. In the UK.
Called Vexed. It was on BBC Two.
And BBC Two, starring in that. So how do you go? Because there's this thing about, you know, the people who move back home are people who haven't succeeded over there.
Over there, yeah.
But so you succeeded.
I wouldn't say I'd accomplished all the goals I'd set myself over there because I was working as a jobbing actress for 5 years after I left drama school in London. And so I did a few things, mainly theatre, a bit of TV. But for some reason, I had that calling to come back. And that's sort of how my journey in Nigeria started. And I moved back May 2010, May 26, I remember the date.
My goodness, is that because of trauma?
Well, it's
emotional trauma? No, or why is it so?
I woke up in April and I called my mum, and my parents live in Nigeria, and I said, Mummy, I'm gonna move back home next month. And she almost had a heart attack.
I can imagine.
I was one of those people that was never going to come back home. And she said, why? And I just said, I think it's time. And, you know, I just want to explore and see what's out there. And within a month, I packed 2 suitcases and my brother took me to the airport and I started crying.
Oh, my goodness.
And he was like, why are you crying? I said, I'm scared. And he said, why are you scared? I said, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. And he said,
well... But isn't that remarkable? Because, you know, you came back and your very first job was like what we all know you from.
Yeah, 53 extra. 53 extra. Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, that was amazing. You had me watching.
Yeah, and I interviewed you on the show as well.
Goodness, that's true, yes. So, you had me watching. I loved you on 53
thank
Extra.
You. I basically told myself that in my first week, you need to go out there and you need to look at every single possibility and every single opportunity. And literally within a week, I got my job.
Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy, I know.
It isn't crazy. It is extraordinary. It is extraordinary.
Thank you.
It really is.
Thank you.
No, it's phenomenal because, you know, what I like about this show is that I love my country. But I desperately want to show people that there are so many opportunities. For as long as you come and you're focused, you know exactly what you want, you pursue it, then you can achieve it, like you've achieved it.
That's it.
It's phenomenal.
I would say that's the one thing that I've truly learned about living in Nigeria is that anything is possible, you know, and I felt like in the UK, I'd sort of reached that glass ceiling, but over here, you can do, if you really put your mind to it, you can do whatever you want.
What about the, and I can't say that I'm curious, the challenges of production. No, you know, the challenges of production, because so you're on set in England in this BBC series, everything is sorted for you. Here you have to figure out the power situation, you have to figure out the running water, the toilet's not working, the catering.
There are a lot of challenges, and it is frustrating. I'll give you an example. When I was working on BBC Two for Vexed, literally you have a car, a lovely limo that picks you up in the morning, you get to set, the car is opened by the first assistant director, you get asked if you want tea or coffee, you get shown to your trailer. When you take your heels off, there's Uggs waiting for you and a dressing gown. It is literally like you're treated like royalty. Yes. Now, not to say that that doesn't happen here, but we're still a work in progress. But I'm just thinking about the way the entertainment industry is now. It has grown leaps and bounds in such a short space of time, and what we've accomplished is absolutely phenomenal. So over here, there are the frustrations, the no light. You know, you can show up on set one day and then your gen's packed up. And then what do? You still have to shoot. So you might wait till 6 p.m. to have to shoot and just hope that your guests will reschedule their time.
And then do you find that, so your guests, I mean, even though most of them are Nigerians. And then
there's tardiness.
There's the tardiness and then there's the total pretense, Chita. It's like we don't live in the same Nigeria. When your guest comes and then the power goes, and they're like,
I know.
I'm like,
it's
the power doesn't go in your house, you know?
It doesn't.
You don't have power cuts in your home.
Maybe they live in 1004.
Or 24-hour lights.
Really?
So there are those frustrations, but you sort of learn to manage it and deal with it the best way you know how. I mean, what I do is that if I've got a guest coming on a show, this is a trick. It depends on the type of guest. You also need to know, and your interview is scheduled for 12. You know, you might tell them 10 because they might show up at 1 o'clock. Whereas if you did tell them 12, they might show up at 3. You know, so there are little ways around that.
There are?
Yeah, there are.
Oh,
that's what I've learned.
No, you need to
I'll tell you after the show.
You need to tell me that after the show, because you know. So you hosted. I mean, because I find this fascinating. You hosted the Future Awards.
Yes, of course.
And that's a big one.
Yeah, that was quite a while ago. That was the first year I moved back. There was 4 of us actually. It was me, Dr. Sid, Yvonne, Vixen. Actually, I think it was the 3 of us. And it was a lot of fun. You know, the Future Awards is an amazing project. And they really promote the youth in Nigeria. So it was a lot of fun. I had a really good time.
Yeah, and then promoting the youth in Nigeria, how involved are you? Besides the fact that you are visible and visibly achieving your goals, and that itself, you know, makes you a role model to young people out there. How involved are you in encouraging the youths of Nigeria?
The way I'm involved, it's sort of like a one-on-one basis at the moment. What I'm hoping to do is in the future is to mentor a whole bunch of people, but it is one-on-one because of my time, and I'm trying to accomplish certain things before I can really focus, and I don't like doing things halfway. So, I mean, I did something recently with FCMB and Kinabuti where we spoke to young girls, models, they're aspiring models, and they got different mentors to come in. So that's sort of what I do. And I do get calls from people asking if I can mentor them. And if I can at the time take on a girl, I will. Because I really think for us, the youth is the future of Nigeria.
They are Nigeria.
Yeah.
This is, unlike everywhere else in the world, we have a really young population. Mr. Chitan, like what percentage, the statistics
70%.
70%.
That's insane. That's insane. I didn't even know it was that much.
Look, if you look at Japan, it's something like 70% of their population is old. They have an aging
65% of their population is over the age of 40.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
That's nuts.
What's your favorite role?
That I've ever
I know what my favorite role is.
Okay. Before you tell me, let me tell you what. My favorite role was actually, it's a theatre production. It's called Iyaile, and it was at the Soho Theatre. It was directed by a guy called Femi Elufowoju Jr., written by Oladipo Agbolaje, and it's set in the 80s.
Really?
And it was just about the Nigerian culture and how it's about a husband and wife and how he basically leaves his wife for his house girl. That's the long and short of the story. But it's about human nature, basically. That's
human nature? Please, human nature where?
But it happens. Haven't you heard those stories?
No. I know. But you know, aren't we all trying to escape it? I mean, escape those stories and pretend they don't actually exist.
And the interesting thing about that play is that when you're watching it, who does your sympathy lie with? The wife or the maid? That's the thing, and that's
he
that's
left
the way
the wife for the maid.
Yeah, but the story, what happens in the story, you're not really sure who you should sympathize with. That's
Are
what.
you kidding?
Yeah.
We need to see this. We actually have clips of some of your work. I think one of my favorites, one of my favorite roles that you played.
Then it may as well be a European company, because that's not the way family works in Africa. Africa. A pleasurable ride down the streets of entertainment, glamour, and lots of fun. I'm Dolapo Oni, and this is 53X.
I love it! Our next guest is a young lady called Beverly Naya. Now, let me tell you a little bit about her. She's been on shows such as Tinsel and a Christian soap opera. I'm really curious about this Christian soap opera. It's called Oasis. I haven't seen it. I'm curious, dead curious about it. She currently has a few movies out, and I'm really very excited to announce Beverly. Gorgeous young lady with a gorgeous feather. Hello. How are you?
I'm fine.
Oh, welcome to Late Night. How do you ladies know each other?
Yes, we do.
So we were talking, I mean, we were talking about this Christian soap.
Yes.
A Christian soap.
Yes.
Yeah. You look like you're starring in a Christian soap. A Christian soap?
Yeah.
Really? What's that about?
It's called Oasis, and the character's name is Paris. I mean, I was approached to do it in January, and I was kind of nervous at first because obviously it's not anything I've done before. But I was inspired by the story. It's really hard for me to say what it's about because I may give too much away. But there's a lot of trials and tribulations that the character goes through.
Really?
And her faith is, you know, compromised and questioned in the process. So it's really challenging, and that's what
As
really
it usually
drew me to the character.
Through life.
Exactly.
Isn't that how it is? I mean, because I think, you know, I think we as a nation have this notion that our faith is supposed to be constant. I mean, it's supposed to go up and down, and
exactly.
ultimately, basically, you know that, you know, there is God, He loves you, you're devoted to Him, and it's a continuous process, isn't it?
But it's a challenge, obviously, because in life we go through so many, you know, problems, and it's hard to stay faithful. So it just kind of teaches you how to stay prayerful and how to stay faithful and just trust that God will see you through. So yeah, that's really what it's about. It's kind of weird that I did it.
So you also, I mean, you have that in common. Both of you moved back from the UK.
Yes.
You know, and you moved back because you noticed this burgeoning, this growth in Nollywood. So we're sitting here in Nigeria. We have, you know, we watch all the Hollywood films, probably don't have as much appreciation for Nollywood as we should have, me included. I'm as guilty. It made you move back home.
Yeah.
Because you recognized the, you know, the value in it, the potential.
Yes, I was inspired by the growth and, you know, everything that's going on. And obviously being in England, once I graduated, I just didn't feel like there were, you know, enough opportunities for young black actors. So I figured that
in the United Kingdom.
Yes,
That's very true.
Or in the world.
In the UK, a lot of actors in the UK, apart from us moving to Nigeria, moved to America.
To America,
black actors, because they find that they can't get the roles. They don't have enough roles.
It's either Atlanta nowadays, or you just come back to Nigeria. So yeah, that's the main reason why I moved back here, because like I said, there weren't enough opportunities at the time. And yeah, when you're young, you have a lot of fire in you. You just want to, you know, harness all the potential you have and go out there and work. So that's really what inspired me coming back at that time. I studied filmmaking. So I have a degree in filmmaking and script writing.
Now, because I noticed, because you studied drama. You went to drama school. Now, do you find that, because I don't know about, do you find that here most people just get up and they're actresses? They just get up and they're stylists. They get up and then they're designers. You know. So isn't there a huge difference between those of you who went to drama school, who studied acting?
Talent is talent. So some people can get up and say, I want to be an actor and have no training. That does happen, but a lot of the times you can tell the difference. But when you're getting work, sometimes it's, I don't know what they told me in drama school, 70% is not about your acting, it's about how you look, it's about if you fit the role. There's all that stuff, and then it's if you can act. There's
this show that you are that you're on called Before 30.
Yes,
now
Before 30.
That is fascinating, because I know Nigerian girls don't joke with this marriage thing. Marriage and children, Ain't joking. Tell me a little bit about that.
Honestly, looking forward to it because I think it's going to be really big. It's about 4 best friends who are aiming to be married before they're 30. So yeah, that's the plan.
Basically, I think we are almost done for today. Audience, thank you very, very much for stopping by and watching. Mr. Chita, thank you for Nyah, for politicizing everything. Nyah, for you.
Well, we can't avoid it.
Pre-cognac and post-cognac. DJ Spinall, we're ready. Let's take some pictures.